Welcome to 5 Minutes, your quick dive into the wide-ranging world of insurance, technology, and leadership. I'm Miguel Edwards, and I'll be your guide as we explore these topics that are transforming not just the insurance industry, but the business world at large. Along with sharing observations I've made over the span of my career in insurance, technology, and operations, I'll be chatting with some of the brightest minds in business and leadership. Whether you're a seasoned executive or a rising star, an industry expert, or just curious about how technology is revolutionizing insurance, this is your perfect spot for your weekly dose of insights. This is 5 Minutes. So the audience that's listening to this, and they heard you talk about AI in the underwriting process, I could imagine concern. I could imagine,
absolutely.
We've lost control of this thing. The computers are doing it. Assuage that concern for us.
For the foreseeable future, it's human in the loop, right? You do not want to have AI make that final decision, right? But AI, imagine somebody who can instantly correlate, make sense of data right beside you, and instantly read those statements, instantly summarize, instantly sift through tons of data and present it to you. Imagine the boost in performance that can bring. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what AI is about, at least who knows where it's going to end up.
Sure.
I think the potential is limitless.
Yeah.
But for right now, there's viable use cases to be had with AI providing that co-pilot assistance through everything from a marketing process to servicing and support, through underwriting. There's very viable use cases out there, and companies doing it today.
Exactly. So I'm hearing really force multiplier. That's how we're using it. Force
Absolutely.
multiplier.
Absolutely. I think people get hung up and, it's going to make all my decisions.
Exactly.
I'm not smart enough to tell you how far it's going to go, but I can tell you there's real viable use for it today.
Yeah, 100%. That makes sense. One of the challenges, though, David, that I feel like we've been dealing with for multiple years. I've been in the business for 25 years. You've been in the business for a while. What is it going to take for the industry to move past some of the same narrative that at least I think I've been talking about for the past 20 years? What does it take for us to move past that narrative?
Oh, that's a great question.
Maybe
that's my next startup, right?
Right, exactly.
So, I think there's got to be a paradigm in shift in thinking, right?
Okay.
I mean, let's face it. One of the things that happened during COVID is all of a sudden we realized we can do without paper, right? Could we have done about it before? This push, this fast push to make these more rapid changes, right? And I think we're seeing that with AI and all these other tools. So I think the limitation is really the mindset of our industry. Really, it's not the technology, it's not what could be. It's our own limitations and how we're individually incented throughout our organizational structures, right, to make that happen. That's our limitation. We seem to be incentivized.
I'm thinking about my carrier executive experience to ensure stability.
Right.
To not rock that wagon too much, right? That type of thing. And we've got to change that. We've got to push
how long have we been talking about the underserved market? Out there. And when you look across the globe and you can see people doing things and getting insurance on their mobile phones, small face mounts and all that. There's no reason we could do some of that in our industry today. But what would that insurance company look like? What would their profitability ratios look like? How would they look, right? The technology's there, is the desire there to go after some of those markets and make them attractive.
That makes a lot of sense.
So
one of the opportunities that I think we might have, David, and I think there's kind of like a dual purpose here. I think about the firefighting that we do in IT. Right. I think about, we're consumed by, just the kind of the run, the maintain, the modernization, the patching, all of that stuff. Is there an avenue for us to leverage some of this technology and innovation to perhaps deal with some of the firefighting so that we can focus on higher order issues?
I think here's the biggest challenge I see with that, especially the larger the carrier, and these are 150-year institutions, right? They've built up a lot of technical debt and a lot of processes. So the moment you take some new technology and you try to integrate it into the old, that's where you run into all those challenges, right? And if you really optimize the whole thing, if you've optimized part of it, I think there is an opportunity, and there's a lot of startups out there tackling that, and we're working with some of them to say, hey, Why don't you try to test and learn and put this product outside of that huge technical debt that you've got? Why don't you try an innovation platform, right? And leave where you are, work on that technical debt, but instead of trying to do something really innovative inside this really calcified structure, why don't we look at a end-to-end holistic new structure for launching? And I think we've seen some success. I won't name all the names out there. I'm not going to shamelessly give somebody else a plug, but I do think there are a number of startups out there. Some have been doing this for a couple of years now, trying to provide an innovation platform. We're fortunate enough to be plugged into a couple of them.
Got it.
And I think if you really want to innovate and get away from the technical debt and the calcification, that's one of them.
Right.
Otherwise, you're really going to need incredibly strong sponsorship.
Thank you for joining this episode of 5 Minutes. If you've enjoyed our discussion, we'd love for you to share it with anyone else you think might find it interesting. Also, please subscribe on whatever podcast platform you're listening on and hit that bell to stay on top of the game with our practical 5-minute episodes. We look forward to seeing you again next week.